It's 6 o'clock. We motored up that way into the wind to raise the main. Now we're heading back north along the western side of Limestone Island. We're anchored about here for the night. There's the old cement works manager's house, and to the right is the caretaker's house. Caretaker's boats in the harbour, and we're going to turn to starboard and head back down harbour again. Whangarei Point is visible. Mount Whangarei will be coming into view very shortly. There it is. Looking back obviously to where we came from. We're on a broad reach at the moment. Nice sunny morning, and we're heading back down harbour that away, but as it's pretty much high tide, we can nip over the sandbanks. There's the ruins of the old cement works on Limestone Island. Far distance is the Portland Wharf. The Aotearoa chief was there yesterday, gone now. We seem to have flashy display on camera again, so we're heading over the sandbanks, heading that way. It's half an hour since we hauled the anchor up. We're on the sandbanks, got about 2.5 metres under the keels, and over there is Skull Creek. Entry point ahead, home's over there, and we'll be heading that way. So the tide will turn now, so it'll take us down a bit, and we'll ease off a wee bit as well. Well, over the last half hour the wind's been dying down. It's now down to 5 knots, but the tide should be turning soon, so that'll help us along. Still not sure what I'm going to do. I'm tossing up with carrying on to Tutukaka or Whangarei because the forecast has improved. We should have southerly today, and then it's going to go north or northwest for a few days, so that will be useful for there and back, but we'll see what the day brings. The wind's now moved sort of east-southeast, I suppose, so we're close hauled now. We're making steady progress again, looking into Parua Bay. Manganese Point's on the left. We're soon going to be passing Whangārei Point, and we have another log ship, it looks like, at the wharves at Northport. Here's Whangārei Point. We've just had another wind shift. There's the Whangārei Point Yacht Club and launching ramp. We've just tacked, coming up onto the wind. It's on wind mode, autopilot at the moment. idea is certainly not a logboat. Bridge forward. I wonder what she's carrying. So it could have been a long spreader beam that they just lowered in. I think it's on the hold at the moment. Well, the hooks come back up empty. We do have a big glue lamb factory beside Northport, so I wonder if it was a very long structural wooden beam. I know it's not one of Matthew's masts because they went out in the ship just recently, but not from here. Oh, no tankers in at Marsden Point, just past Passage Island. Went across at Riotahi and Mount Aubrey, and we came from way down there about an hour and a half ago. It's a bit lumpy out here. Now we're exposed to the swells coming in. A bit of wave action on the beach, but we'll go out for a look anyway. It's always hard judging buoys when there's a lot of tide and not a hell of a lot of wind. I did actually turn the electrics onto the engines just in case, but not needed. Well, it's not the smoothest going, although it is a very nice day, even if a little cool in the wind. Well, we've been tacking across the channel. So in the channel we get a big lift from the tide, but then the waves get quite disturbing for sailing. There's the Frenchman, and you might be able to see the confused waters over here where the tide is ripping through. So just with not a lot of wind, it makes it a bit tricky. Well, we're going to have to tack back into the maelstrom to make use of the tide. And you can see how strong the tide is because that buoy is busy heading leeward compared to us. So tide in our favour. Now moving, but it's not very fast. Right, the tide's taken us past Frenchman. It looks like we'll get around Busby Head too. The launch went out earlier and possibly decided it was a weeny bit rolly out there. We got caught in one of the back eddies of the Frenchman, which spun us into attack, which I don't want to do, so I've just engaged the starboard engine under low revs just to get into calmer water. Right, well, close hauled at the moment, seem to be straight into the swells, so I'll probably just motor sail. It'll be perishingly slow otherwise. There's Mount Whangarei behind Smuggler's Bay and Busby Head that we've just come around. Well, I think we could describe this as fairly uncomfortable, but I suppose the sooner we get there, the sooner we'll be rocking side to side rather than pitching. So once we get round Bream Head, which is up above, we'll be side on to the waves. Right, looking into Peach Cove, probably not a good place to anchor at the moment. Bream Head had a little bit of drama as I had to change to the forward large fuel tank. Should have checked that before I started. Oh well, we live and learn. Oh, there's the chicks on our left. a hen on our right, and then Sail Rock further right. Yeah, difference in the colour of the water. So I presume the stuff we're in is the water that came out of the harbour last low tide. It's still a good 2 metre easterly swell out here. Well, it's 12:30, round at Bream Head, Whangārei Island on the right, Ocean Beach straight ahead, and then Whangārei Mountain. Well, this is a trial of sailing with the engines in neutral, and we are making progress, but it's about 3.5 knots or less, and despite having the Traveller down to leeward, not particularly successful. We might motor sail a bit longer. I will also help with evening out the diesel distribution from the port forward tank to both aft tanks. You can still see the distinction between the greenish water and the blue water, and that's the chicks out behind. On the north side of Bream Head, Whangarei, Mount Manaia behind. You can pass over it, but best avoid it, and certainly when there's a big swell. Well, I'm going to go check how the diesel tanks are going. I live on this step here, but I have put my tether on just to be triply sure. It's about 34. Oh, same thing for this one, which is the port side. So it's about half full. And we might stop this engine and let the other one catch up. So the diesel supply from the forward tanks runs down the port side. Gets the port fuel distribution manifold first, so it's not surprised it fills up a bit quicker. Not only is the diesel return from the engines going into the tanks, but I've got the bypass on as well. So that noise before was the intermittent fault on the starboard side that keeps telling me it's not charging, but we know it certainly is. So we'll turn off port one. And continue with progress. It's certainly calmed down a bit. We're away from the cliffs. The swell's supposed to be dying out anyway. At the moment we're doing a run of various jibes, even though we're going in a straight line. Presumably it's the effect of Bream Head out here. Yeah, sailing not really a viable proposition. I suppose you could do some broad reaches, but still be very slow with the wind being knocked out of the sails all the time. Well, despite what I said, we're going to give it a go. So travel down, come up onto a broad reach at about 140 degrees. Well, that ticking noise is the distribution pump on the forward diesel lockers. Very hard showing just how big the swells are. are making progress. Not startling, but getting there. Well, theoretically, we're about 4 hours from Tutukaka at this pace. It's 1:30. I'm about to have a late lunch and we're off Whangārei Mountain. There's Whangārei Head and the gables of Tutukaka in behind. We're not exactly pointing that way, we're getting out to sea a bit, but that's to try and keep the apparent wind up on a broad reach. As a matter of fact, we're probably heading closer to the Four Night Islands. It's 2 o'clock, although we have made some progress, not exactly in the right direction, and of course the days aren't as long as they used to be, so decided to motor again. I left the main up just in case. So poor nights, so we're not actually heading that way. That's coming up 2:30. Still motor sailing, although the wind has come up a bit. Here's Whangārei Head and McGregor Bay. There's McGregor Bay. Donna and Chris live in there. Oh, let's turn the engines off just to see how we're going. Oh, there's Whangārei Head. And then we've got Patau, where we used to camp when the kids were little. And it was easier than sailing, although we proved we could sail. Camping was easier. When I say camping, we did have a caravan, a small cottage with bunks in it for the kids, and a permanent site, and it was only 20 minutes from home. So it worked really well for a few years, and even had travelling light going in and out of the lagoon into Patau River. We're doing about 3.5 knots. Should be an hour and a half to go, so we'll persevere like this for a while. It's 3:15, the wind dropped down again, and being virtually behind us was not easy sailing. We're halfway across Whangarei Bay. It's Whangarei in there. Up to Tutukaka, recognisable by the 3 gables. So the entrance to Tutukaka Harbour is just this side of South Gable, which is the first one. But we're about 20 minutes out. The forecast for tomorrow is lousy, but a day in Tutukaka should be alright. Possibly might be able to go around to Whangarei later in the day, just depending on what the weather's actually doing at the time. The coast comes out towards us at Tutukaka, and we're just heading up there. Now there's the gables of Tutukaka. It's finally coming from the southwest. Does not want to cut this corner, which the Navy boys managed to do a few years ago, and wrecked their ceremonial boat. Oop, bit wobbly, sorry. The entrance to Tutukaka is quite narrow. There's rocks over this side, rocks close to that side. So we came through here once in travelling light, and a big easterly swell, and the swell behind us broke across the entrance, and we spent a very uncomfortable night in here in a surge, so we'll probably have a bit of a surge tonight, although the swell's supposed to be going down. Marina's up ahead. Look at the anchor up ahead to port. Looking back to the entrance. An island on our right, and anchorage is obviously in here. Lots of moorings though. We're going up here. Anchored in Tutukaka. Entrance is that way. We usually pick up people from this beach over here. You can anchor off it, but it's actually very shallow. Marina is obviously over here. And Andrew lives up there, but he's away this weekend. Well, certainly nice sunset.